What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Still sticking with Italian this week.
Still sticking with Italian. I just feel like, as far as Sunday mornings go,
That's true.
That's a buongiorno kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Or if it were Sunday night, it would be DiGiorno.
It's not delivery.
It's DiGiorno.
Great pizza.
Sponsored by DiGiorno.
I wish.
No,
How great would that be?
That would be awesome. We would get to eat DiGiorno on the episodes.
And they have
all
the
the
cheese
time.
stuffed crust now.
Oh my God, yum.
God. Although I think we are getting pizza tonight.
I'm
for
more
dinner.
like a thin crust person, actually.
See, so is Sam, but I love a good, except for, she is when it comes to like delivery pizzas and stuff like that.
Okay.
I always still just love a normal old pie crust. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's what the poor people like, but whatever.
But I mean, end all be all, is like the top of the food chain is still like the deep dish stuff. Like Via 313 here in Austin.
Oh yes!
My
God!
Have you had Jets Pizza here?
Jets? I've never even heard of that.
Okay, so there are I think they have a couple of
Sponsored by Jets.
Maybe they would be easier to get.
Probably would be. We should ask them.
So they're like a delivery place. But there's one down south close to us here, and I think there's another one way up north. But they do like the same style as Via 313.
Really, the Detroit style?
Yeah, like the really thick deep dish.
Fascinating.
Oh, it's so good.
Dude, fun fact, I only just had Via 313 this year.
For the first time?
For the first time. And I was like, oh my God, this is delicious.
That's so good.
I feel like such a fool for having wasted so many years.
You should, though, because we had it for the first time when it was still pretty much just in the trailer behind Craft Pride on Rainy. And so
that's where I had it at. Because we were at Craft Pride. My friends were like, oh, do you want a pizza? And I was like, no, I just ate. And then they gave me a bite of theirs.
Quit being stupid.
No, they just one of them split like a piece of hers with me. And I was like, mother of God.
This is the best thing I've ever had
in my life. This is the best pizza.
Now, it's on pizza before we get to games.
Yes.
The one last final
we're
thing
here to talk about games, not pizza.
Have you had Pius out in Dripping Springs? Or out southwest of city?
How do you spell that?
Pie.
Oh.
Us.
Oh, okay. No.
O-U-S.
Oh.
Pie-O-U-S. Yeah. Like being pious. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's good.
No, I haven't had that either.
Okay, it's Neapolitan pizza. So it's... Oh. But see, that's people's reaction when I tell them. But it is so damn good. They have one that I can't remember what it's called, but the main ingredients are it's blue cheese with bacon marmalade and arugula. Dear God.
I don't know how I feel about all those words together
so
like that. I'm not so sure about that.
It melt in your mouth deliciousness.
I mean, I would perchance try it. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of far out, so I get if you don't want to drive that far out to it, but it's so good.
Is it really close to that super fancy bakery that's called something in thyme, and the thyme is spelled like the herb thyme?
Oh, I don't know.
Anyways, we're not here to talk about
We're not here to talk
bakeries.
about that. We're talking about pizza anymore, but we hope we got you good and hungry for you on this bright and shiny Tuesday morning, hopefully, wherever you are. But anyway, we are here, though, to talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between, because that's what we do here on Team Chat Podcast, a weekly video game show that comes out at Tuesday, 9 a.m. each and every week across podcast services around the World Wide Web. You can also watch a video version of each episode on YouTube and Twitch. So you can check those out there. And then, other than that, you can find us on social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can join our Discord server where we have a lot of fun, continual game conversations that go on throughout the week when we're not just here delivering fun video game stories, tidbits, anecdotes, reviews, etc. here on the show. So check that out on our Discord. The link to join is in the comments, or the description, of the episode below. Finally, we are a completely listener-supported show, so we haven't been able quite yet to wrangle in DiGiorno and Jets Pizza to sponsor us yet. So we are a completely listener-supported show. So if you're really loving and enjoying what we're creating here, head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where it's for as little as $1 a month you can support the show. And in return, we'll give you a cool perk like getting the episode early before its general Tuesday release. We let you have those. Early access goes out Monday, so you get the whole episodes, video, or if you subscribe to the video or audio tier, you can get those out Monday morning, a full day before everyone else. So check that out on patreon.com. You also get access to our special patron-only channel on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery.
That's where we get to put all of our uncensored opinions, all of the, stuff that we hold back.
We hold back on the show that we cut out. So we put out we add some pre-roll
these
stuff.
Episodes, you guys, you don't know, they are heavily edited.
Heavily. But edited so well, you can't tell.
Yeah,
just a seamless,
really smooth
seamless piece piece of media. It's great. It's great.
boy.
But anyway, enough about all that. Before we jump into our main topic, we are going to hit on some news stories from the last week and upcoming releases.
All right, so coming soon, this episode airs on Tuesday, October 2nd. So out today, you have Forza Horizon 4 for
that's out.
Xbox One and PC. You also have Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise for PS4 only. And then you have Mega Man 11. I'm actually really excited
Nice.
about this title. Mega Man 11 coming out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The gang's all here, minus Xbox 360. And then coming very soon on October 5th, we of course have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But more importantly than that, also on October 5th, Super Mario Party for the Switch.
Did you say Assassin's Creed Odyssey already?
Yeah,
missed it.
I
Sorry,
did.
I was fact
Oh my
checking
God,
something.
you suck.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I already said
Yeah,
it.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
You suck.
I'm sorry.
And then that's everything that's coming out in the near future. So, Big Bad's Super Mario Party on October 5th for the Switch, along with Assassin's Creed Odyssey for most major titles, not including Switch.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I just can't contain it. I can't contain it. We're here in this big fall games month of October, and I just can't. I can't deal.
Are you going to be Cassandra?
Yes, actually.
Oh, thank God.
I've already
Finally.
decided that. Like, as soon as they said that this is going to be this stuff, I was like, oh, I'm playing as Cassandra.
Yeah. You have to
Definitely.
romance everyone.
Absolutely.
All the people.
All the
Yay,
options.
all the
crazy.
romance. Go crazy.
Just going all over ancient Greece. But yeah, so no, I am so excited for that game. They did actually come out and confirm though that Ubisoft did say that every Assassin's Creed game from now on will have the option to choose gender.
So, what I
Of your
really
protagonist.
want, though, Ubisoft, listen to me about this, talking to the camera.
Boom.
All I want from Assassin's Creed Odyssey and all following Assassin's Creed titles is for there to be at least one DLC pack that is a romance-only option. No fighting, no side missions. Just got all your Hazubondos and waifus to choose from.
Just being a regular old Casanova.
It's all, or Cassandra Nova.
Cassandra. No.
Anyways, that's what I want Ubisoft. Get on it.
Nova. Oh man.
Quality jokes.
Quality. That's what you come here to Team Chat Podcast to hear is quality.
Oh boy.
But a couple other quick news stories before we jump to the topic is that they also came out this week. So last week, like I said, one of the big things I was excited about to come out from last week was Outbreak Day of 2018
Yes,
for
indeed.
the celebration of The Last of Us, because that's the day that like the fungal outbreak hit its peak. And
I don't
it
like
took
that
over.
word.
Fungal
I don't
outbreak.
like the word fungal.
Well, it's a
Keep that to
the
yourself.
cordyceps virus, viral outbreak. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Fungal. Oh, gross.
But anyway, they all look like fungi after they're dead. It's the
sick.
thing. But anyway, so my big hope there is that we didn't, they hadn't revealed everything that was going to be available for sale, for purchase, or whatever. And so part of that, I was hoping that they were going to say the release date. Still no release date. They
Well,
did
that's okay.
re-release the soundtrack of The Last of Us on vinyl. Mondo put that out. They also released a new Mondo poster. Again, there was an avatar pack, wallpapers, a new T-shirt of Ellie's tattoo. That was pretty cool. I basically just loaded up on all the new avatars. I added the music that they put out onto my Spotify playlist and all that stuff. I also went ahead because the game itself was super cheap. I finally bought like the last two little skill packs for the multiplayer that I still hadn't had. And so like I just because they were like $1 each, I was like, sure, why not? Bought those. And then I treated myself I had this digitally, but now I finally bought it in physical form. The Last of Us American Dreams comic book
Super
series.
pretty. Get the glare
Is there
off
glare?
it. Yeah.
No, there's no glare.
Okay,
Just gonna
there
get
we
it
go.
close. Now it's going to be out of focus. I can't get it too close. There we go. Last of Us American Dreams. So it's four comic series that was put out by Dark Horse. I bought them digitally before, but now I wanted them in one whole big collection. So treated myself to that.
This is super sleek. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it was a pretty good read. It's quick.
Is that Ellie's girlfriend?
Yeah, Riley.
Awesome. Her first girlfriend.
Yes.
The OG GF.
Yes.
Not this new
It's like
woman.
It's like
from
how
the
they
new
met. Joel's not
trailer.
even in this yet. It's before. Yeah, it's before how they. It's just how they met and came to be friends and all that stuff. So
This art style looks familiar. I wonder if I've read anything by them before. Anyways, that's awesome.
all that to say is that then obviously my next hope was that they would announce maybe we'd get a little bit more information at PlayStation Experience this year.
But
they also came out last week and said Sean Layden came out and said that there was not going to be a PSX this year. Basically, what his quote is, and this is from IGN, we won't have it in the States this year. The reasons behind that really are we don't have we have a lot of progress that we're making on our games. Now that we have Spider-Man out the door, we're looking down into 2019 games like Dreams and Days Gone. Also, side note, this is my own words. I can't care less about Dreams at this point because it's taken so long to come out.
What is Dreams?
Dreams is the one where you basically can make anything inside the game, basically.
Oh.
You can like, it's a very, I can't think of the right word, but basically it's a very, I feel like it's going to have a very niche popularity kind of thing.
Okay.
And so, but like they've announced, it's been talking about, I feel like since the PS4 was announced and
Wow,
first came out.
really?
So like it's still not out yet. So
I've just never even heard of that before.
but
Whoopsie
anyway,
doodles.
he says, so we're looking down into 2019 games like Dreams and Days Gone, but we wouldn't have enough to bring people all together in some location or is there just a crap load of typos in this? But anyway, but we wouldn't have enough to bring people all together in some location in North America to have that event. We don't want to set expectations really high and then not deliver on that. It was a hard decision, but we have determined that this year we will not hold PlayStation Experience.
I mean, TBH, like from a budgeting perspective,
That makes
if
sense.
you don't think that a conference or like expo like that is going to be financially valuable,
Yeah.
why would you do it? So like I definitely agree with their reasoning and I support
And
the
if-
decision to cancel
And
it.
if they're not ready to show anything new,
What's the point?
What's the
exactly.
point?
Like why would
Exactly.
they even have one?
I mean, granted, I'm still upset. Where's my damn release date? I need to know,
Yeah.
Sean.
You know, that's really probably why they put it off. They were like, no, they're going to ask about it.
Well,
and we don't
that's going
want
to be like the only big reveal that they would
yeah,
have.
it would be the only thing.
We've seen gameplay now from Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, Spider-Man's out now. Days Gone is going to be out in February. So it's like, what is
Who
it?
cares, right?
Yeah, and they haven't really announced like some other big next, PS4 exclusives to be revealed yet. So unless they
Right.
have those ready enough to be able to reveal, then there's no reason to do it. So it makes me sad, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it, I guess. And the final bit of news, we needed to round up a little bit more about Telltale, because even in the last
Yeah.
week since we first talked about, and all the news broke that the studio's closing down, more has come out and more things, the biggest of which is that a class action lawsuit has been filed against Telltale.
For good reason, by the 4 more employees. So not only were they not given advance, so the basis of the lawsuit, I should back up, is for anybody that's not aware of what's happening. Telltale Games recently shut down their studio. They laid off about 250 some odd employees all on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, none of them were given the mandatory 60-day notice that the studio would be shutting down. So not only were they not notified that there was going to be massive layoffs because their studio was being discontinued,
Shut down.
they
Shuttered.
also were not offered any severance packages. And without giving notice and without offering severance, just mass layoffs, that's a shit tier move, man.
So my only wonder then is in this point, because technically the studio is not shut down. So I'm wondering if that's some loophole then to that. Because
No, it's
I mean,
probably
I'm
not.
not in
no,
any
actually,
sense a lawyer.
if you read the law, so I actually read like the
I was
mass-
going through and
yeah.
going through and like skimmed through. I didn't.
Well, so
I will say I
the
didn't,
gist
like,
of it
study
is
it.
that the state of California, or whichever state it is that they
It's
are,
California.
yeah, California. The state of California has a labor law on the books that says if a company that is over X size is going to
Oh,
be
that's right. I
laying
did
off
see that. I did
X
see
amount
that.
of people, they have to provide X amount of notice, and they didn't.
Okay.
So based on
So,
all
yeah,
the
that is-
factors,
they
I
are
think
still
it was
bad.
like California has a law that I think it's either 60 to 70 people or more in a company. If they're going to be laying off blank amount of people from that company, they have to provide the 60 days worth of notice.
I see. Okay, that
which
makes
they
sense.
did not do. So it sounds like cut and dry, the labor laws were violated, which means hopefully I think that the lawsuit should go through
Yeah.
and that it should be ruled in favor of the employees because that is so lame.
I mean, it really is. The more that this comes out, it really it's. And again, we'll have to see. These are just our opinions. We're not lawyers. We have no
I'm a
idea.
lawyer.
We have no
That's
idea
my
what's going to come
official
out of this.
lawyer opinion.
But it definitely seems that Telltale has been definitely in the wrong in this. And the more that comes out, it does. Like it even in the aftermath of all this, they came out last week saying that, hey, we have interested parties who are stepping forward to help us get the last season of The Walking Dead out to get it finished. And everybody's like, who cares at this point? There
Yeah.
are 250 employees without severance that you let go.
Yeah.
Who cares about the game? So it's like even in this moment of like, they're done, and like the last those, they still couldn't even seem to put together the good face forward, basically, and like do the right thing. They're more focused on putting out their product, which at this point,
I mean, this really just seems like a massive case of horrendous mismanagement.
yeah, money over people.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
is what it is. And so, which was interesting then that the majority of the reception to that was them being like, was the games industry and people at large being like, no.
I mean,
we don't care about this. Take care of your people first.
But it does happen a lot with games that the developers themselves, like the low on the ground people, they're not very valued.
Yeah, no, it's a huge problem.
Yeah,
that's
why it's a burnout industry.
That's why it's a topic I don't want to get onto right now, just
yeah,
because we don't know.
For another day.
We don't. I need to study up and read up more on. But there is a massive push right now going on in the games industry for unionization.
I think they need a union. Yeah,
And
they
so-
need to union up.
So that's a topic for another time. But anyway, so that's pretty much the big news to come out
Let's
of.
talk about unions today.
God, I'm not prepared by any means.
Well, we'll both need to take like a class in
Yeah,
college.
a little bit. Yeah,
we'll
learn.
come back in a year's time.
Exactly.
and
We'll circle
talk
back around to this, but it's an very interesting story that's been developing and continues to develop. So as more stuff comes out, we'll keep you updated with all that. Now, it's time to get to the good stuff.
this stuff that we actually are here to talk about because we both love it so much.
So much, and we
We're
gave
so
you a
excited.
little teaser about it last week. But last week, Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 Roads was released.
Roads.
We have played it. We are here with our thoughts. Now, this is a full review of Episode 1, so per usual, this first little bit is going to be completely spoiler-free. We're going to talk about mechanics, other things about the game, how it relates back to Life is Strange Episode 1. So there might be some Life is Strange Season 1. There might be some spoilers to that, but we
Very
can't...
light
Very
ones,
light,
very
and we
light.
can't avoid... We can't avoid it.
Yeah.
Because we just need to be able to talk about the similarities and differences between the two. But then we will, after we're done with that, we will jump into a spoiler-heavy section where we do talk about and break down story and moments.
We'll be comparing our own notes against
Comparing
each other,
notes,
who
comparing
did
decisions,
what.
different things like that. And so that will get spoiler-heavy. We will give plenty of warning, though, before any of that starts. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Where do we even start?
I know.
All right, so I feel like
With these games, they're so big. They're so...
So let's start by giving the listeners, the viewers, a very broad overview of what the premise is.
Take it away.
All right, so the game begins, and you are Sean Diaz. You're a teenager outside of Seattle, Washington. You have a younger brother, Daniel Diaz, and your father, Esteban Diaz. We had just had a brief conversation about whether his name was Ernesto or Esteban. My bad.
Esteban.
So the entire premise of the very first scenes is that Sean is getting ready to go to a party that night, put on by some wild child named Eric. You get the feeling that Eric's probably like a pro party thrower. And he's got, so Sean has a best friend, Lila. They're texting, they're Skyping, they're talking about, getting ready for the party. What are they going to wear? Who's going to get together with whom? What kind of snacks are they going to bring? Who's going to steal the beer? That kind of stuff. Like very teenage coming of age story types of things. And throughout the course of that little scene, this is maybe just like over the span of an hour in game time, the younger brother gets into, I guess we'll just say, an event. Try not
I just
to
say at this point,
say too much
it's basically
about it.
just a traumatic event takes place that forces the brothers to have to leave their home and go on the road. Like you get that much from trailers, you get that much from the reading the description of the game on the website and in stores. You just know something bad goes down and they gotta leave.
So they're runaways.
Yes.
They're on the run. You don't really... We're not going to tell you what they are on the run from. You do know.
Not now.
Yeah.
If you stick around to the spoiler part, we will.
Yes. So that's the premise, is that these two brothers are out on the road now, out in the wild. They're the two wolves.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of one of the recurring themes of the game, is that even one of your little, I wouldn't say save logo, but like
It's
your
the-
update thingy.
It is part of the save logo, and also like because what was it in Life is Strange Season 1? It was the butterfly, right? It showed the butterfly.
Yes.
And so basically in this one, your decisions, it will show you either a big wolf if your decision favors Sean more, or a little wolf if it favors Daniel more.
Yes. So one of the key mechanical factors of the game then, which is something that I really didn't know that this was going to be a thing based on the Life is Strange 2 demo and what we saw from everything before, I get like a couple of flashbacks to the very hated video game trope of the escort quest, where you, as main character, are responsible for like shepherding someone through a variety of tasks.
Yeah.
And essentially, you play only as Sean, but you have Daniel there with you all the time. And so you are more or less in charge of both Sean and, in some peripheral way, Daniel as well. And that I did not know was going to be a thing.
I assumed it would have been a thing, but I feel like they're doing it. I feel like they're doing it well. It's not like so escort heavy of a feeling as like an escort mission in like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, no, it's not quite the same as that. But for example, you do have a lot more responsibility for two characters as opposed to Life is Strange 1, for example.
Right, where basically Chloe
Yes.
and anybody else you were with interacted fairly independently of what you did.
Yeah, I mean, they would go off and do their own thing. You still had to interact with them, but you weren't responsible for other characters in the game per se, aside from Chloe, because she kept like trying to die, and you were like,
Right.
God damn it, Chloe. Get out from that train tracks. You need to come over here. You keep dying. This is much more of a hands-on, this is an older brother, younger brother relationship. Daniel's 9, I think they say
Yes.
in game. So he's 9, he's obviously a little kid, doesn't know anything about the world. You have to guide him, both in terms of the environment itself and like emotional guidance. You have to be able to teach him how to be an adult, how to be a man. And that's something that you obviously guide him down a given path through how you interact with him, through what kinds of things you tell him about life, through whether or not you give him a lot of help in the environment or not a lot of help.
Right.
And at this time, it's very unclear how those decisions will impact the end game. I'm very hopeful that those two diverging paths will be radically different. This is wild speculation. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to go down at this point.
Right, absolutely. So how would you say so far, and how did episode 1, do you think, really, like, what are big differences that we feel like we see, or similarities between Life is Strange 1 and Life is Strange 2? They're very clearly, for me, in the same, like, series. Like, it's not...
Yes, they are. So
It's
these
not
are games
like-
that take place in the same universe.
Same
as each
universe.
other.
But, I mean, even in, like, feel and how you interact and conversation and like cutscenes and different stuff like that, it still feels very much like they kept a lot of that similarly. The one big thing is that you can definitely tell they've put a little bit more power behind their engine and how smoothly the game runs.
Yes, it is definitely a clean, fairly smooth game. I don't know if it does this to you, though, but every time I actually start the game on my PS4 and like the open screen comes up, it always takes it just a hot second for all of the scenery to render.
I did have that. I didn't notice
that's
that on
weird,
the. I
isn't
didn't
it?
notice it on the main menu, but I did a couple times while playing. Like,
Yeah.
I would switch to a cutscene and I would notice like some textures being finalized in the background or something like that.
I mean, it's
Nothing
very
big.
it's very minor. Obviously, that doesn't impact my opinion of the game
Right.
at all. I just noticed it.
I will say I will take that over Life is Strange 1's, where going out of Chloe's room into the hallway was a load screen, going downstairs was a load screen. Like now you're in a building, you're in a house, you can go inside, outside.
Yeah.
You like it's way more fluid. So I'll take that any
Yeah.
day.
I mean-
a little rendering I can forgive.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the soundtrack is very in that same hipster vein as Life is Strange
But
1.
now they actually have real licensed music in this
Yeah,
one.
they do.
wasn't,
They've got Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the first one. The first song that plays in like the opening of the chapter and everything. So that was
And
good.
I was like, is this Phoenix?
Yeah.
What's happening
And
here?
there was another one I think at the end of the episode too that I remember that I picked up on. I recognized, but wasn't totally sure of who was performing it. Let's see. So yeah, so the big thing I would say is one of the bigger differences that I would say too is what you already pointed out is that there is camera's done. Is that there is the different dynamic now of feeling like you are in a sense controlling two characters,
Yeah.
which is a big difference from one where you were only Max. And then you interacted with Chloe, you interacted with other characters, but you were still just primarily controlling Max. But now you do have this, because there will be all these different dialogue options where you can like you can, in typical Life is Strange, you can look at an object and just hit like the look at button, which is triangle on PS4. You look at it and Sean will give some internal dialogue about it, but then you can choose to like show Daniel or ask Daniel about it. Go see what Daniel's calling you about. So you are in this way like controlling these two and like telling Daniel what to do while also trying to do your own thing as Sean, which I think it provides a little bit more just stuff to do.
I would say
basically.
that it allows your attention to go to more than one place.
Right.
Whereas in the past, you were always focused on the first person view of Max.
Right.
Now you kind of are both. Like, you have to be aware of what Sean is doing, and in the back of your mind, you also have to be aware of what Daniel is doing. Because if you miss something, you might not even know that you missed it, and then you see like the little wolf logo in the bottom come up, and you're like, oh no, I just missed a decision, and I didn't even know it was coming up.
Did you ever reload a checkpoint? Because it gives you that option.
No.
Okay, I never did either.
I never did. Nope.
It does give you that option because, this game, similar to Life is Strange 1, it very much is heavy on your decisions impacting how the story goes.
Yes.
So, in Life is Strange 1, Max had the ability to rewind time, which is basically you're reloading a checkpoint. And so in this one, that's not an option, but it does give you the option if you just pause the game to reload if you didn't like how a decision you made played out.
See, I feel like they shouldn't even have put that in the game.
I feel like it should be like Until Dawn, where you're stuck with it.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't know that was an option, actually, so I, of course, will not use it. That's not something I'm going to do. But another thing that is very similar to the feel of Life is Strange is that apparently, don't nod, they're a French studio, correct? I think that they think that everyone that lives in the state of Washington and or Oregon is just like an artist. Like, they're just all artists all the time. Because, like, of course, in Life is Strange, they went to Blackwell Art Academy.
Yeah,
and
Max is this photographer.
She's a photographer. And even in this game, you're like this kind of teenage punk Sean, but he's still like a sensitive artist because he loves to draw.
Yeah.
So in the first game, one of the ways that you got trophies was through taking photos of things in the environment as Max. In this one, you do drawings. Now, those aren't actually what give you trophies, I don't think.
You do get a trophy if you start a drawing. Like, the very first drawing you ever start, it does pop a a trophy. But it's not. I thought that did tie it into whenever you would take a picture of something like the squirrel doing something at Blackwell Academy, like that gave you a trophy for getting an optional collectible. The drawings do not count towards those trophies.
That's
but
right.
those are really the only trophies that are in the game are completing the stories and doing the collectibles are pretty much it.
Yes,
for
and
each
the
episode.
new collectible in this one is, because the boys are on the road, of course, it's souvenirs. So like anytime they go somewhere new, there might be some type of souvenir around. It could be something like a keychain. It could be something like a postcard.
Right.
So did you get all the collectibles available in the first episode?
I missed 2.
Which ones? Do we want to say which ones you missed?
First and third.
First and third.
We can talk about it, but like
Oh,
later.
okay. I think I know which ones you missed. All right.
I was very annoyed I missed the first one because I was trying to find it all over the place. But anyway, so I found 3 of the 5. So.
Okay, awesome.
Did you? Okay, so now here's the thing, because this was confusing me. I pre-ordered. Did you pre-order and get the Arcadia Bay souvenir pack that you could put onto your?
Yes.
You can put like the little butterfly, like Chloe's anarchy symbol on your backpack and all that stuff.
I guess not.
Missed out.
Well, what a bummer.
I know.
Yeah, so anyways, a lot of the souvenirs and collectibles are things that you can actually attach to Sean's backpack.
Yep.
And you then see those in game. So like whenever him or Daniel are wearing the backpack, you can see your little keychains all over the place.
Cool.
I think that's pretty cute.
What was I going to say on that same thread?
Well, I will say that one of the mechanics that, at least in episode 1, has not been fully expanded on, presumably it will be further down the line, are, of course, Max had time travel powers in the first game. There was that big element of the supernatural. Without going too spoilery into it, that is going to be a big part of Life is Strange 2. But as of episode 1, it is very minimal.
Very minimal.
You really only kind of know what it is. You don't know how you'll use it. You don't know how it's really going to work in-game at this time. Presumably, episode 2 is going to expand on that a lot more. But right now, it's very preliminary.
Just the other note I had on that is that the drawing mechanic, though, was weird.
It took me forever to figure out how to work the freaking pen.
Took me forever, too. It's like you have to look up, memorize, like hold a button to memorize, then you look down at your drawing pad and then use the left stick to draw, but I could not figure out how to make it draw for forever.
Apparently, you just go in circles, people.
And you just like move the stick very quickly in like a lot of different directions.
We're helping you. Just move the stick.
Well, no, but you have to do it in like a certain direction to where he actually like locks on the page or something, because like I felt like the camera, you move the left stick until you find when he actually like looks like seemingly locks onto the page that he's looking at, and then you start moving the thing like crazy, and then I don't know, I still can't really fully explain how it happened.
That.
I finally just got the picture drawn.
Yeah.
So I
think it's a little easier than that. You just look at the page and furiously do circle on the left D-pad. What's it called? Analog left
stick.
analog.
Yeah.
D-pad. Anyway,
what is this? The
what
90s?
is this? The 90s. Anyway, so there are definitely themes that are consistent from Life is Strange 1 to Life is Strange 2, but the story and the characterizations are radically different.
Yes. Okay, so overall then, because we're not going to give like a full score to this game yet, because this is only episode 1.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
But how do you think generally episode 1 of this held up to episode 1 of Life is Strange season 1?
As a non-artist girl, I feel like I have more trouble connecting to Sean and Daniel, because I'm like, psh, boys, right? Who wants to be them? But I do feel like I feel just a little bit more disconnected from the situation of Sean and Daniel. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Max, I feel like her situation in the game of kid going to school, I was like, wow, that's a very applicable theme of a character that is almost for all United States kids, apparently.
Yeah.
But the situation for Sean and Daniel is radically different. It's very personal, and in a lot of ways, highly politicized.
Yes.
We will say that Life is Strange 2 deals very directly with the current U.S. political environment.
Which I was kind of surprised by.
I was not expecting that.
Let's just say, slight spoiler thing. The phrase "build that wall" is thrown out.
It's in there because, of course, Sean and Daniel, their father is directly from Mexico. He's from a place called Puerto Lobos. They mention it. It's like on a postcard or something in the background. So they are first-generation kids. They've grown up in the United States, but there are characters who react very badly to them because they are of Latino heritage. And it's like, wow, they're dealing with this straight on, which I did have the thought, this is kind of what Far Cry 5 made it seem like the game was going to be about.
Yeah.
Whereas Life is Strange 2 is like, we're talking about it right now, right here and now. Let's talk about racism in America, everybody. And it's like, holy crap, okay. It's
heavy.
I guess we're doing this.
I mean, that's Life is Strange. It's a heavy, they always deal with heavy topics.
And I feel like, again, that's something that's consistent with the Life is Strange brand.
Yep. For me, I will say that I feel like at the ending of episode 1 of this, and taking it back, I feel like I did like episode 1 of Life is Strange season 1 better.
I will too. I would agree with that.
Not saying the game, this is like a terrible, like it's terrible and you shouldn't play it.
We just don't know yet.
We just still don't know where it's going to. Again, we also, caveat to this, we had all of Life is Strange season 1 to play all at once. This one we are having to play blocked out episodically. So we were able to move from the ending of season 1 episode 1 to season 1 episode 2 flawlessly, just right out the gate.
And I would say
now
that
we gotta wait like 2 months.
Yeah, now we have to wait so long. This episodic sucks. Okay,
Let's change this game.
We said it sucked last time, and it sucks now.
And look what happened. Telltale's done now.
Yeah,
and they're episodic.
Yeah,
let's change this world.
So, anyways, I will say though that I think we both agreed from Life is Strange season 1 that we felt the game really took off in episode 2.
Yes.
So presumably, episode 2 is going to be the turning point, the part of the game that shoots you off on your definitive path.
Yes.
In terms of what are your powers, what's your real goal in the game.
Yep.
So I would say based on episode 1, I don't really have a solid opinion yet.
Yeah.
I'll have to see. It's good.
It was very good. Recommend playing.
Yes.
Especially if you're a fan of the series.
Of course.
But yeah, we just don't have enough other feelings on the game to know.
We don't have the
for sure
data.
how does this stand completely next to season 1? The one thing though I will shout out and just say is really great, I feel like, is even though like you said you felt like you identified closer with Max in season 1, I still though feel like Don't Nod does a great job of making you feel connected to the player.
Of course.
Like I connected very deeply with Max and Chloe from season 1, and even like near the end of episode 1 of season 2, I was like, man, like I feel like I really am playing as Sean.
Yes.
Making decisions how Sean would be making them, not how I would be making them.
Do you hate Daniel?
No.
I kind of hate Daniel.
I think he's just a little kid.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
He has
He's
little
a
kid tendencies.
Like, I understand.
He gets
But
somewhat annoying, but no, I don't.
There's
hate him.
that part of me that's like, fucking Daniel.
God, shut up, Daniel.
Shut up, Daniel.
Okay, well, I think we've gone as much as we can in the spoiler-free territory. So let's skip on now. Fair warning for everyone who doesn't want to stick around and hear spoilers. We are jumping into spoiler territory now.
There will be no additional things after this. For the
we've given
episode.
our final how we feel about it. Play it; it's great, especially if you're a fan of the series. No, obviously, score number yet, but here we go. Let's jump in.
All right.
Game a few more seconds there to turn us off.
Just in case people
Just
last
in case.
chance.
Here we go. Okay, in case they're trying to drive and be like, no, and like fumbling for their phone. Okay, but here we go for real. The one thing I loved, and I'm interested to see, though, how this, not love, but it was cool, and I'm interested to see how this will come into effect, because I already know how it could have come into effect in this episode. When the game begins, it asks, did you play Season 1? And if you say yes or no, and then if you say yes, it then says, did you choose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay?
Yes
or no? And obviously I chose no, I did not sacrifice Arcadia Bay. Because I'm assuming then later on in this, when you're driving by and you stop outside of Arcadia Bay and you see it, obviously it'd be a complete. I'm wondering what the dialogue options there will be different, and I'm wondering if there will be any other connection then to Arcadia Bay.
So I feel like there might be something along those lines of asking if you play Life is Strange 1. I'm hoping that they'll maintain that throughout the episodes. I feel like in episode 2, maybe they'll come at you with a different question.
Did you play Captain Spirit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I bet
did
they
you play
will,
Captain
actually.
Spirit? Or, for example, what did you decide on episode 3 of Life is Strange something something? So I feel like there's a lot of potential for that to have really just interesting and cool tie-ins. Obviously, those aren't really impacting the story of... Oh, I thought you were going to show me something.
No, sorry.
They're not impacting how you actually play the game in Life is Strange 2. It's just like a fun Easter egg kind of thing.
Right. So the big thing, though, that I will say that is different from this game is that you don't from Season 1 that I think is an interesting take and a good spin that they did on this. It appears, unless they change it up in later episodes, you will not play as the person with the superpower.
Yeah. So just to go back a little bit more to what exactly transpired in the initial parts of the game, what happened is Daniel was playing outside. He got into an accidental altercation with their neighbor, who it was established in the early game is probably a super racist person.
Well, did you find the letter on their kitchen table or their that's from that kid's dad being hey, your kids are loud, and they're just asshole neighbors, basically.
Yeah, asshole neighbors. So anyways, Daniel gets into a slight altercation with the older boy next door. And then Sean goes out to find out what's going on because he's the big brother. Sean and the boy next door get into a fight.
Quick pause there. Did you choose to confront, question? Because that one gave you 3 different of the big decisions.
Did. So I chose to confront Brett.
So
I think his name is Brett.
Yeah,
of course we would. We got to protect our little brother,
exactly.
man. Even though it probably was his fault. When you stand by your family, even when they're being a douchebag. So we both chose to confront Brett then. Mm-hmm. I assume that one way or another, you would have gotten into a fight with him.
Right.
So the point is, you get into a fight, Brett winds up getting very injured. The cops just happen to be driving by. They notice the fight. A white cop gets out of his car. He immediately points his gun at Sean.
He seems to be a newer cop,
He seems new. He seems to be new.
Because he seemed very
nervous.
Very nervous at the situation.
So he's nervous. It seems like he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's pointing a gun at Sean, telling him to get on the ground. Daniel too. Their dad then comes out of the house, hearing the commotion. The dad is just freaking out like any parent would be when a cop is pointing a gun at their kid. Yeah. The dad's like, everybody calm down, let's just all think about this. And the cop panics and shoots their father.
Which I knew something terrible was going to happen. I knew it just wasn't going to be something bad that they're on the road laying from. As soon as the dad and he and Sean had that conversation in the garage, I was just like, God damn it, the dad is going to die and it's going to be terrible.
He's doomed because he's a cool dad.
Yes.
He's the cool parent.
You're going to the party and you ask him for money and he's like, oh, hey, no bullshit. Are you going to use it for drugs or beer? And you're like,
I
Did
said
you lie?
yes.
I did too.
No,
I didn't lie.
No, I was like, yeah, Dad's definitely, it's totally for drugs.
And he's like, hey, man, that's cool. Gives you like $40. And I was like, what? So cool. And I was like, you're definitely going to die now.
It's like, oh, maybe we could have saved him.
If we would have lied. Lying saves lives.
So anyways, the point is, Esteban is dead. And in that moment that he is shot and killed, Daniel, like in his emotional distress, he sends out what is apparently his power, like a shock wave of telekinetic energy.
Which you are not sure who did it.
That's right. In the initial scene, you don't really know. It's heavily implied that it was Daniel because in the aftermath, he's passed out. He's like very out of it.
Yeah.
And Sean is too, to a certain extent, but he recovers so much more quickly that I was like, it's definitely Daniel. The cop, I presume, is dead. He gets
It does
blown
get
back.
mentioned later.
Yeah.
When you meet Brody, he mentions it. He mentions a dead cop.
Yes, so
yeah.
he did die. I'm not sure
I'm assuming
if Brett
Brett's dead,
died.
too.
He probably died
Because he was in a different location. He was
Yeah.
moved like farther up the yard, like in the street too, or something.
Yeah,
I'm
so they're
assuming he's
probably dead. The neighborhood is like decimated. Like it's
Yeah.
a big shock wave. So 3 people at least are dead. Sean and Daniel are alive. They wake up as they hear more sirens coming. They know they have to run. So Sean just grabs his bag, grabs Daniel, and they're out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to title screen, Life is Strange 2. And then flash forward, it's 2 days later, they're on the road.
Yeah. And so basically, the rest of the game, without fully rehashing everything, because we don't have time to do all that.
We
but
wish.
We wish, but like we don't want to keep you here for all day. But so they go, you have to like do some things. It's very much establishing their relationship at this point, I think is what episode 1 is all about, basically. Sean's the older brother. He's annoyed by Daniel. Daniel gets annoyed by Sean by being an annoying older brother. So, but then slowly they start to learn to trust each other, work together. You have to go build a shelter for each other out in the woods. You have to, ration out. It's part of your responsibility as Sean to ration out and find more food. You do all these different things, and you're just slowly establishing as you make your initial part of this journey. The next really big thing I would say doesn't really happen until you get to the gas station.
Yes.
Because you're there, you're hungry, you're needing more food. You only have like $20.
Real quick, from the campsite,
Yeah.
is that the one that you had trouble finding?
Yes.
Oh, the fishing lure?
Yes.
You suck. I found it. Loser.
Because I think it doesn't Daniel like call you over to the water?
No, so he doesn't have to because Daniel was off doing something else and I was just looking around and it gave you the option to notice something in a tree. And
It was
so
in a
Sean,
tree?
It was in a tree.
I was looking all down on the
So
ground.
Sean noticed it. It gave you the option call Daniel because it's so high up. He has to pick Daniel up and then Daniel gets it out of the tree.
Damn it.
And he's like, oh, it's a fishing lure. And I was like, great, we can fish now. Wrong. It's just a souvenir.
just
and I was
to
like,
have.
oh.
I thought it was which I was like, that's kind of pervy of Sean, but I thought it was the bra that was stuck on a tree branch.
I didn't even see the bra.
I kept like walking over there, like trying to see what I had to do to activate. And I was like, why is this not activating? I can't grab the collectible. But no, I did grab the second collectible, which was the
Bear keychain.
The bear keychain. I missed the one that is the third one, which is the truck. It had the semi truck, which I assume.
Oh man, I must have missed that one too then.
Because when you get to the gas station, a semi truck is leaving. So I'm assuming there must have been something where it was parked that you can go over and pick up. But I totally forgot to go over and look at it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I thought like another one was going to come in, and then after I left the area, I was like, oh. That I probably should have gone and checked over there.
That's good to know because I actually kind of assumed that there would only be one per approximate location.
I thought so too.
Yeah, okay. That's good to know.
But apparently the gas station there's like 3 because there's the bear keychain, a feather.
Oh.
Did you find the feather?
No.
It's behind the
Oh my
gas
God.
station.
What the F?
And so there's that one, and then the truck. So there's those 3 that you find there. There's the one at the gas station, and then there's the I guess the last one or two is at the last 2 are at the hotel.
Right.
At the end. But basically, so without going into this, you get to there and there's there's this family that you can choose to either beg for food or from them or ask them for food. It wasn't as much begging as much just asking. And then you can do that. But then you go inside and you can buy buy or steal some
Yeah.
like camping supplies, different things like this.
Did you
from the-
steal?
No, I bought.
Oh my God, I stole.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a respectable citizen.
I was like, I'm going to steal.
Did you have Daniel distract the lady?
I didn't know, like, apparently I didn't do whatever was necessary to trigger that.
Yeah.
I had that thought, but I couldn't really figure out how to make it work. So instead, what I did is I waited for her to just naturally be looking away, like doing her crossword puzzle. And the only thing that I successfully stole was mac and cheese.
Oh, okay. So I
At
bought.
least I was stealing
I bought
food.
things, but I only bought. I bought Daniel one of the candy bars because I promised him earlier that I would buy him one, and I bought like a loaf of bread and some stuff. But then I had also successfully gotten food from the family outside.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do that successfully. They were like, "Fuck off, kids." They didn't say
really?
it that way, but
But they were like, "No?"
Yeah, they were like, "No, get
So I
out
did
of
that
here."
successfully and was able to get food there.
Because I bought hot dogs in the gas station. So
See, I thought about that, but I was like, "There's only 2 hot dogs for $6, whereas I could buy it, or like $4, but I can buy a loaf of bread for like $2."
I also didn't see the bread at first. Plus,
yeah.
I was being a shifty thief. So whatever.
So basically, you go and you go and you leave and you get a map which the lady gives you at the store, and then you're outside with Daniel looking over it, and her husband who helps her run the store comes, and he's just a huge dick.
He
basically
is-
accuses you of stealing right off the bat.
He is a xenophobic,
Racist.
Eastern Washington redneck,
Yeah.
basically.
And so he immediately accuses you of stealing because you're not white and just 2 young kids.
In my case, it was
And-
true.
See, in my case, it was not. So I felt fully justified in telling him to back off.
Yeah.
Which I basically just like.
So does he attack you either way? I assumed he would.
What did I say? Did steal power blue box? That's for food or stuff. I discussed it with him, or I tried to discuss it with him, and he still like attacked you. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he attacks you, basically locks you up in his office. Daniel runs off because he couldn't catch him, and then course of events, Daniel comes back, and you're able to figure out how to escape. The man comes back. He. Spoiler is the one who says build the wall.
Yeah.
And but then Daniel comes back, and then the man comes back, and Daniel uses his power again to knock the man out. But then you don't see it. But then that's when I was like, oh, so it's Daniel who's got the power.
Also, we should just say the reason that the guy locked up Sean, in either case is because he recognized them from a newspaper.
Yes, from Seattle.
So it is very much out there that Sean and Daniel are wanted because people know what happened in Seattle
Can't
with
hide
their
that.
dad. Yeah, you can't hide it. So they are formally on the run from the law. Like, I think if you check Sean's phone while he still has battery power, there are even a few texts from the police
There
saying,
are.
like, hey, just come on back. It's better to discuss this now.
There's a newspaper in front of the gas station
Yeah.
that has the story about it. So so the guy's holding them for the police, and so they're
Yes.
able to escape before that happens. And then Daniel uses his power, presumably knocks the guy out. Don't think kills him.
No, I don't think so.
But then again, it gives you the option to steal camping supplies or run. What did you do?
Oh, I stole. You didn't steal?
No,
Oh my God.
because here I am. I'm thinking about this. I was like, true, we might have to be out on the road, but also if we ever do get caught, having stolen for stuff from a gas station is going to make our case that much harder.
We ain't getting caught in my game. So, anyways, when Daniel activates his power in the gas station and you come out, if you choose the option to steal, the guy wakes back up.
Oh, really?
And then I probably shouldn't have done this, but I did because I was like,
Kick him
yeah.
in the face.
Kicked him in the face. So like when he kind of wakes up, he tries to stop you again, and he's like saying really mean shit to you, and you get another choice of, do you want to beat him up? Or are you just going to run? And I was like, if I run, I won't get my sweet new tent. So I beat him up, in front of Daniel. And that
We're going to have way different outcomes to
really
this game.
different games, which is a good thing.
Different. At least we're not making the same decisions
So,
here.
anyways, a little bit further down the line, though, that decision does come back to haunt you in a sense. And I'm sure that far game, it will have more of an impact.
Sean's going to jail on your story.
He's probably going to jail.
But anyway, so you run out of the gas station and you run into the woods and find another customer who is at the store using the Wi-Fi, Brody. And he basically
Brody's so cool.
Brody is cool.
I love Brody.
He's basically just chilling. He's living out of his station wagon because he's basically like traveling the U.S. writing stories and different things like this. And
He's
so,
a travel blogger.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
And so he like easily takes you in because apparently the old dude harassed him also about trying to steal stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, I totally get it. You're in the right. And he takes you and you all leave. You know, Daniel's able to fall asleep in the back. He stole a puppy. He did take it. Well, didn't steal because it was technically
it
a
was
free
for
puppy.
sale. It was free.
It was free. And so he took a puppy from the gas station that you wind up keeping or whatever. And
What'd you name the puppy?
Mushroom.
Me too.
And
I
so-
wondered what the other
I wanted to
options
let
were,
Daniel
but yeah.
name it. Yeah. And so anyway, you go and you with Brody, and throughout the course of this, he takes you into actual Oregon. So that is when you stop by and are looking at Arcadia Bay with Brody, because you and Brody then have a heart to heart while Daniel's asleep, because at this point Sean hasn't told Daniel what happened.
Yeah, Daniel, like we said, he passed out after the incident itself, and he mentions in conversation at one point that he doesn't really remember what happened.
Right.
And there are references all throughout up to this point of Daniel saying, "Man, I wish Dad were here," and it's just like a punch in the gut every
really
time.
is.
Oh, it's brutal.
Just like Life is Strange season
Oh,
1.
man.
Gut punches all around. But anyway, so he has this heart to heart, basically like, look, I'm not going to take you back. I'm not going to turn you in, because he knows who you are too.
He's like your very liberal-minded kind of pseudo guardian. He's
Yeah.
like, man, the way the country's going, I can understand why you would be afraid. So like, he's very much on your side.
And I don't know if we said this yet, but basically Sean and Daniel are on the road because they're trying to get to Mexico.
Yeah,
Because that's
so-
where apparently the only family they have.
That's right. Now, actually, so this is long game theory. It says right now that they're trying to get to Puerto Lobos, which is where their father grew up. It's where he's from. They probably have some extended family down there. It's not sure, because it seems like if they do, Sean and Daniel have probably never met them.
Right.
But they do mention that they have grandparents in the same area of like Seattle, Oregon, that they don't talk to anymore.
And they mentioned Brody asked about his mom. And that's when Sean says that like she's not in the picture anymore.
And here's the thing. Remember from the demo,
The
Sean
old
and
lady.
Daniel were at somebody's house.
That's true.
We don't know whose house it was. It was like the neighbor. I think that those people are their grandparents. And I think that
Interesting.
maybe not, my current theory is end game. End
See,
game.
I don't think they make it to Mexico.
No, I think they're going to wind up with their presumably maternal grandparents.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I think so.
And then they're going to run into
I can agree to that.
Chris?
Yeah,
I was going
Chris.
to call him Chad. They're going to run into Chris, BFFs. I can't quite decide yet, though, if I think that's going to be mid-game or late game. I'm not, because I
think
feel
it
like
might
it
be
could be
mid-game.
either.
I think it might be episode 2, honestly.
Because think about it, the events with Chris's mom from the demo were not resolved.
Right.
So I feel like they might try to tie that mystery into the ultimate goal of
That'd
the
be kind
game.
of cool.
So
That's
I'm
why I think
thinking
I think it's.
3?
Did you watch the like sneak peek at post credits?
Yes.
So it's
So
it's snowy, which is when it was snowy in Chris's in
the
in
game
the Captain
starts
Spirit
in
demo.
fall, and then with Captain Spirit with the demo, it's fully winter. There's like deep snow all over the place. So at the end of episode 1, it gives you a brief view into the future. It's snowing a lot, so yeah, maybe that will be as early as episode 2.
Yeah. So basically, to wrap up episode 1, Brody takes you. You stop by Arcadia Bay, have that heart to heart. So that's what I'm assuming is different. If Arcadia Bay is destroyed, I'm assuming that's where there would be some different dialogue of some kind. Which I want to
wonder
go
what
back.
it would look like.
I want to go
just
back
like
and
a smooth beach, nothing on it.
I want to go back and like see that part and listen to it again, or to see what it is. But anyway, and then so Brody takes you to this hotel. He gets you set up with a motel. Sorry,
It's not as nice as a hotel.
He gets you set up with a room, gives you some extra money, gives Sean a new backpack, and then basically is like, I got to leave. I got to be on my own way. Did you read the letter he gave?
I did, yeah.
He's trying to get to Utah to get back to his family because even though he talked about like them being distressed and not in the best relationship, his mother is about to pass away, and so he's trying to get back home to be with her.
Do you mean estranged?
Estranged, yes. Sorry.
I mean, they are also in distress.
Yeah.
But Brody is estranged from his family.
Right.
But his mom is dying of cancer,
He's
so
trying
he's
to get
going
back to her.
home.
And so anyway, so you're left there again. You get settled in the hotel, try to clean up all this stuff. Sean leaves to go get a snack. Daniel sees on the TV about their father being dead. Freaks out, activates his power once again.
Like
Daniel's
in
able
a big way.
Yeah,
like shit's flying around
all over
the
the
room.
place. Mushrooms freaking out.
Mushrooms freaking out.
Sean is able to talk Daniel down, and they calm down basically. And Sean's like, Daniel's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Sean is like, "I was scared. I didn't know what to say. I just tried to protect you." And and it basically ends with Daniel asking him never to lie to him again. And Sean's like, "Well, I chose. I promise."
No, I did not.
You said you're not?
I said I'll try.
Ooh.
And at the end of the episode, it does give you still the breakdown of what percentage of people made which decisions. I was shocked and appalled
I say,
that
I meant to pull all those.
That more people didn't say that they would try, because I feel like it's a lie in and of itself to say that you'll never lie.
Oh, see, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah, I feel like that's never going to be the case in terms of kids. Sometimes you can't tell them the truth.
That's true.
And I stand by that decision. So anyways, I will probably be lying to him and perchance doing more thieving.
And more thieving.
And probably beating up more old guys.
We're gonna have radically different playthroughs.
I'm loose
I like
cannon
this.
Sean on the edge.
I like this. We're gonna have a lot of differences. But yes, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I think the big thing and the big difference is that unless it switches around in episode 2, you do play as Daniel, which I'd be interested to see if they throw that in there or not. But I do like that in this one, you're not the person with the superpower.
I feel like it might be more like Sean guiding Daniel on how to use his powers. And I feel like eventually, once you get into potential conflicts, you might have different decisions. For example, of saying, Daniel, use your power to, do you want to do this, this, or this with Daniel's power? I feel like that might be where more of the decision making and impact for the end game comes into play.
Right. So as of now,
First of all, look at how cute this dog is.
Is he being pretty cute?
Oh my God, he's being so cute.
Oh my goodness, just laying up against the wall there. Oh, just being
so cute.
Our producer Fender just doing his job.
He's being a good producer.
But so yeah, a lot of. I'm very excited to see where this goes.
Me too.
Obviously, like we said, episode 2 is when season 1 first really kicked off. So will that carry over into season 2? We don't know yet, but it could. And where does Chris come into play with all this? Will they make it to Mexico? Will they not? Will they find their grandparents? Will they find their mother?
Theory.
Okay.
They're going to kidnap Chris, mercy kidnapping, and they're all going to go to Mexico. It's going to be...
That's going to be your timeline.
It's going to be my timeline. They're going to...
It's going to give you the option, and you're like, yeah, take this kid along. We can do this.
Steal the kid. We already got a puppy.
So it'll be... I'm very, very, very... Again, already into the story. Want to find out more. Again, I'm just still surprised when the trailer came out that we weren't playing as Chris. I've just assumed we would be playing as Chris from Captain Spirit. So, but no, apparently not.
I will say one little thing that
and Brandon called it.
He did
from our reveal.
He called it in the comments.
He was like in the comments of the video where Mogan and I did a reaction to the Life is Strange season 2 trailer. Brandon pointed out, he was like, "But hey, thought here. What if Chris isn't the one with powers?" And we were like, "What?"
And he didn't.
And he was right.
He didn't say it in the comments like, "comma dummies," but I feel like we should have noticed that. I feel
he's just smarter.
He's just smarter than us.
He's just too good.
So I will say one thing that does kind of irk me about the game, and this is like not necessarily a knock against it. Mm-hmm. It could honestly just be that the voice actor for Daniel is probably young, I assume. Every now and then, some of his dialogue options sound very clunky. Like, do you remember when you first see the dog and he goes, "A puppy," and he said it in like a very mechanical, not natural sounding way.
I will say that, and that's even from season 1 too. The voice, the writing, it does feel somewhat clunky.
Yeah, just occasionally. Some scenes come across as much more natural, but every now and then something will just sound very forced or very clunky.
I feel like there is more internal dialogue in this one than from the first season, which I like.
Because Sean is very conflicted. Obviously, he is also in extreme emotional distress, but as the older sibling, he has to pretend to keep it cool. And I feel like his inner monologue is meant to give you a bit more insight into what he's thinking outside of what he can say to Daniel.
Right.
Because as we know, I'm lying 9 ways to Sunday. I'm
stealing.
Just stealing and lying and killing people. I'm out there, man.
Goodness gracious me.
I tried to kill Brody.
Why? He was a gentleman.
I was like, you know too much.
That will be funny though. That comes back to bite you in the ass that he totally spills in an online blog, and you're like, "Damn it, Brody!
God damn it, Brody!"
No, that's crazy stuff. But yeah, very super excited to see where the story will go and where Sean and Daniel will eventually end up. But we have really no more thoughts on that, and we're running low on time. But we'll obviously circle back around to this when episode 2 comes out. Now, as is tradition, we must finish this with a soundtrack spotlight.
And we have a suggestion this time.
We do. I've got it pulled up right here.
I think we should do not the scary Gondola Venice one. I like the save room music.
The save one? Okay, yes. So this is from Brandon. He suggested that we do the music because it is October. We are getting close to Halloween, which I did think was very fitting for this game.
Spooky,
this is all about
scary.
A lot of stuff in episode 1 had to deal with Halloween and stuff.
Go get David S. Pumpkins.
Oh yeah, I just bought Funko for the David S. Pumpkins and his Beat Boys. It's great. But anyway, so Brandon suggested that we should theme on more from horror game music and stuff for this month.
I
and
agree.
So I think that'd be really fun too. So he suggested for this week's episode, Resident Evil 2 Save Room theme.
It's a great theme. Get ready for it.
So stick around for that after the close. But until next time, I will go ahead and say this now because I already know that I've got a little bit of a crazy week coming up. This is more a note for our patrons, and I like to always say this clearly and out front whenever this happens. Early access for next week's episode will not be able to come out on Monday, unfortunately, and I apologize for that. Just due to my crazy, I just found out I have to go to Orlando for a few days to film a conference, so it's going to be due to some scheduling and different things like that. For that, we're not going to be able to actually record next week's episode until Monday night.
Monday.
So it's going to be a quick turnaround.
It's coming out,
but
bright
all
and
of our
early on
news will be
Tuesday.
very up to
It'll
date.
be so fresh.
But I always like to give heads up and let people know so that there's never surprises about that. So heads up for that. But it's going to be another fun episode, though.
It will
because,
be.
like I said, we're into the big fall releases. So next week's episode, just get people excited. Let's build a little hype. Get the hype train rolling. We're going to have first impressions of Assassin's Creed Odyssey from me and first impressions of Mario Party from Mogan. So it's going to be a great dual episode. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Fun will be had by all.
Looking forward to it. Looking excited for it, too. But with that concludes this episode of Team Chat Podcast. Until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you all next time. Stick around for the song.